Whoa! And we are live. We are live tonight at LA School of Comedy, where the comedy never ends, and it really doesn't. And if people tell you you're funny, you probably are, but you won't figure it out till you take it from the page to the stage. My name is Sunda Kroonquist. I'm your host for this evening, and I want to give a round of applause to our comedy concierge, Samantha Linderman, who is here. Give her a round of applause, please. And of course, we have the director of the new, please just scream it out to me.
Film Actors Cafe.
The Film Actors Cafe, yes. We have Ian McIntyre that's doing the, Aaron, Ian. Oh my God, I can't come up here without glasses, I can't see. McInerney, Ian McInerney, you know who that is? Thank you. He's a Colombian, not Colombian, oh my God, I slipped. That's because of you, Paul. I wouldn't have thought of Colombia, you son of a bitch. I'm kidding. He made me think back. Oh, you're getting heckled, you poor thing. Don't worry about it. We love you. And you know what? You got to come out on the 17th, September 17th. We're doing what time is it for the kids?
The kids is 4:30 to 6:30.
4:30 to 6:30 for the kids acting.
It's going to be 7 to 9:30. We're doing a free acting open house.
Free acting open house. Did you hear me? I said free. That's right. I said free in Los Angeles. Griff, where have you been for free? Griff, did you miss me?
I did.
I'm sure. So Brennan, I brought these over Brennan.
Really?
Yes, he said to me, wherever I work, I steal. And I said, really? Good to know. I'll look for my books. Well, we're going to start. And also, listen, sometimes you have a kid. You ever have a kid that the teacher says, your kid needs too much attention. Your kid needs ADHD medication. Your kid totally dismantled this entire classroom. I'm thinking you should be on medication. Why can't you handle them? Who's the one that said, was it Vance? I'm not into the politics thing, but let me tell you, this lady got something so wrong, and MSNBC let her run with it, and you could tell her weave wasn't together. You know what I'm saying? Like it was half blonde, it wasn't all there. And she was like, first of all, the reason you have to vote for Vance is because he put in his time. He put in his time in the Army. Don't you know that he ran when they said it's time to go to Iran? He ran. Or was it Iraq? Iran, I don't know. I'm not political. I'm just saying you can't let somebody go that far. You got to stop them. It's terrible. Oh, my God. It's just not true. Sacrificed his life. He didn't go. And he's running around like did you see him? He's like, we're going to do this. This is like the last inning. I was a horrible, horrible girlfriend. I hated sports. I was a terrible cheerleader. I always cheered when anybody made a basket. I was happy for everybody. If you made a basket, Samantha, I would be happy for you, even if you were on the opposite team. And you know why they threw me off? This girl came up to me and said, give me that ball. And I gave her the ball. And they put me on the cut list, but my name was listed, and I told everybody that I was on the cut list. Do you know what that means? They cut your ass out.
Oh my God.
Off the team. I know. Horrendous. Horrible. But the beautiful thing about this place is that with the beauty of comedy. And this woman coming to the stage is no exception. I've introduced you as you're a comedy concierge, but right now, she is your performer, the one and only Samantha. Sam.
Stop. No.
Hey guys, I'm so happy to be here. My name's Samantha Linderman. Could we get one more round of applause for our host, our director, Sunda Kroonquist? From across the globe, from across the city, from across the street, it doesn't matter because she's here tonight. And I'm happy about it. Griffin's happy about it. I don't know why I was going to start with this joke. I don't know why this just came to me. So I would say it was harder to come out to my parents as vaping again as it was to tell my parents I was queer and then only ever talk about men. You know, like just to mess with, you know what I mean? I was like, I'm queer. And then my dad was like, he was excited about the word, but also upset. The bisexuals hate it. They go, when can we be enough? I'm like, it's LGB, you know, like the B's right there. I don't think anybody's forgetting the B, you know what I mean? Anything after Q gets kind of lost. But I'm from LA. Anybody else? It's a beautiful city. It really is. I mean, it's a really great small talk opener with my Uber drivers. I love telling them I'm from LA. They always go, where in the East Coast are you from? And then I go Pico Robertson. I go right by La Brea. I go right off La Cienega. You guys are from San Francisco. That place is gorge. I know people don't say that, but I mean it. Like, I went there and it was beautiful. I loved it. I loved the trolley. I loved pretending. I was like, if I lived here, I'd walk up these hills every day. I'd lose so much weight. Do people say that a lot? I don't know if that's normal. Maybe that's an LA concept. We just look around like, how could we lose weight? It's so sad. How can I take up less space but also post more? How can I take up more internet space but also cinch my waist? Anybody ever been bra shopping with their mom? I don't know. It's like, who else do you go with? You know what I mean? You're not going to go with dad. You don't want to go with your aunt. You don't want to go with your aunt. You don't want to go with your cousin. But so you go with your mom. And then she's fitting you, and the woman's like, I was your size once after I breastfed my twins. And I was like, twins? Like, I'm 15. Like, it was crazy. It was crazy. I didn't have them by the time I was bat mitzvahed, so I was like, what's the point? I'm just saying, like, really, like, 9 years old now. It's the GMOs. Yeah. That's what they tell you. When they teach you about it in 5th grade, they're like, McDonald's is getting you your period sooner. I'm like, is it sponsored? Are we getting McDonald's at the end of the puberty lesson? That was crazy. I don't know how they do it now. They split us, boys and girls, in different rooms. But the beginning of the video was the same for both of us. It was talking about BO. And I think the teachers really, they played that one 3 times. They're like, did you guys get that? They're like, we're not going to give you cafeteria food, but we are going to give you guys Dove deodorant. Because it's a mess. It was a mess really in middle school. I would say the stench that's when it got really bad. I went to a public middle school with uniforms. Like, that was weird. I don't know. And anytime I would tell people where I was going, I could tell if they were racist or not by their reaction. You know what I mean? It was Emerson. It was down the street, but people were like, oh, you're going to send your kid to Emerson? And I was like, it was actually the white children who were the most terrifying. And I was one of them. I was addicted to Miranda Sings. I was walking around doing a Miranda Sings accent. And there was this one kid, and his only crime he committed was being a nerd. And I'm like, and this is like 20, and like, I'm not trying to brag, like, I'm in the 2010s in middle school, you know what I mean? And they're bullying this kid for being a nerd, spitting in his hot chocolate. That's biological warfare. In a post-COVID world, you'd be arrested for that. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, the parents are like, are you sure you're going to send your kid there? I don't want your kid there. So I'm not, you know what I mean? But they have a new gym now. You're talking about sports. I don't know anything about sports. My family's Jewish, and my dad, he would say, we don't play on the teams, we own them. And I was like, we don't own any teams. What are you talking about? The closest is my cousin Jeff sells kosher hot dogs at Dodger Stadium. But that's the closest I've ever been to being on a sports team, is the food. Jewish people love to talk about food. It's always... you always hear how long it took to make the food, and then you see everybody trying to eat the least amount of it possible. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, this is just my first plate. I'm just going to go back and nosh some more. I'm going to have some snacks afterward. My grandma's like the queen of it, because she's like, I'm not going to have a piece of the cake, right, of her birthday cake. Oh my God, you're 88. You know what I mean? How many... Now's the time to eat the cake. Now's the time to eat the slice of the cake. Oh my God, I can't. I'm like, for what? You think he cares across the table? He can't see you. He can't hear you. Eat the cake. But she'll just have like a little piece, and then a little piece, and then a little piece, and then the cake's gone. So maybe it's like that, like when you have the ice creams that are individual and they're small, so you have 20 of them. I just stole that. Someone else did a joke about that. I saw that. So I'll say that right now. If you find that clip, I'm addicted to the internet, so it's bound to come out here. I've recently started community college. Thank you so much. You should see the way the people in my life are reacting. They're so happy. You think I was like Elle Woodsing my life, but I am. I really am. And like LA lets you do that. Like, you go to LA City College, like they'll set you up. I just keep telling everybody Morgan Freeman went there. Nobody cares. Yeah, it's like nobody cares. They're like, but what are you gonna do? I show up to my Theater 100 class. It canceled forever. It just canceled for personal reasons of the professor. I'm like, I want the professor's phone number. I want the doctor's phone number. I want to know who died. You know, I want to know who fucked who. Like, what happens for my introduction to the theater class to be canceled? I don't know what you guys are thinking. I clearly need more stage time. I don't know. I mean, the last community college acting class I was in, I know, why am I doing it again? I don't know. I did it at SMC, and I was like, I have to be closer. I have to be in LA. Santa Monica's not close enough. I have to be in LA. I'm taking the bus now. The bus is so much more fun than Uber because you're not alone with the driver. You know what I mean? It's a lot of pressure to really, I mean, talk about a tough crowd is an Uber driver. Like, they either need to hear everything or they don't want to hear anything. Like, you know, like they either want you to shut up or they're like, oh, tell me more. Oh, tell me more. And I'm like, I feel bad, but it's like, dude, I'm gonna give you a tip at the end anyway. I don't need to give you tips right now. You know, like I don't want to give tips. I want to see your tip. I just like leave the tip for the end. I ask Uber drivers, I go, what's your worst story? You know, because I think anybody you ask somebody what's your worst story, it's like you respect them, like a doctor, teacher, Uber driver, lawyer, Uber driver. And I had this one guy, and he was like, he goes, it actually happened right here where I'm picking you up from. It was my student dorms. So I was like, that's terrifying. You know, like, why would you say the worst story that's ever happened to you is where I live, where I'm going to go back to? Actually, it was right here. And he goes, a young man, he goes, my English isn't very good, but I'm going to try. This man, it was like verbatim, like Merriam-Webster, perfect English. It was like a trauma. It was like a trauma retelling happened. And I felt like I was there because I was there. It was the same place it happened. And he was like, a young man gets into my car and he goes, can I give you cash? And he's thinking like, oh, like to go a further distance. He doesn't want to pay the Uber fees, whatever. He goes, can I give you cash if you let me, it's not your neck. Like, if you let me, and it's a clean show. No, I'm kidding. No, but it's a crazy story. That's a crazy story. And he says, no, get out of my car, right? And then he's waiting for another ride, and he sees him get into another Uber, get out right away. And I was like, are the dating apps that bad? You know, like, are the dating apps that bad that you're gonna, risk your whole Uber rating? And I don't even know what else. I don't think they get Uber drivers STD tested. They shouldn't. But I'm so happy to bring up our director, our host. Okay, I'll say one quick thing about the school. So I work here. I took this class. I love this place. It's a total hub of creativity, not just comedy. We're opening up acting. We're doing kids acting. We're doing podcasting. We're going to have self-tapes. We have Jazzy doing social media. We could have social media classes. You know what I mean? It's endless. So if you guys want to learn and if you want to create, you're in the right place. And please, please, let's welcome back to the stage Suna Cronquist, everybody!
Samantha! You're too funny. Samantha, Uber is not a dating app. It's not. It's not. It's really not. It's really not. But you know, I was wondering, can you switch with him so he can go up? Can you lean? Okay.
On the stage.
Oh, you okay? I'm going to bring. Oh my God, I have to remember all kinds of names. When you have a name like Sunderland Cronquist Saffron, it's unbelievable. All right, but I've got this. McIntyre. Well, yes, I'm bringing to the stage the one and only Aaron McIntyre. Let him hear you.
Well, I'll be damned. She got it right. Yes, my name is Aaron McIntyre. It's not Aaron, and it's not Aaron. It's Aaron. So just get that straight. It's not E-R-I-N. It's not A-A-R-N. So don't call me Aaron, for God's sakes, fucking people. Because Aaron is supposed to be anonymous. Oh shit! What was I gonna do? Oh yeah, memory. So I have a really shitty memory. I'm actually thinking. I think Elon Musk has come up with this thing that you implant in your brain, and you could just like tap your temple, like like in Star Trek or something like that. I've always wanted to have one of those. So I think that's going to happen. I mean, my memory is so bad. People always say, "Oh, I know." Whenever I tell them that I have a shitty memory, I give them examples, and they go, "I know. Same thing happens to me." And I'm like, yeah, but does it happen fucking every room you walk into? Every single... I swear to God, I was with this woman one time, and we're in the middle of it, We're in... that joke does not work with that thing. So anyway, we're right in the middle of it, doing the act, and all of a sudden I was like, what did I come in here for? That's how bad it is. That's how fucking bad it is. It's terrible. I've been thinking a lot about gender, the whole gender thing, and the pronouns and all of that kind of stuff. We've got Mr., right? We've got Mr., and then we got Miss, and Mrs., and Ms. So you guys got 3, and we only got 1. And I think that that's fucked up. I think that we need to create something else. So, that's one of the things I'm working on right now. So I just want to put that out into the zeitgeist and see if any zeitgeists out there will help me with that joke, because I think it'd be really funny to have like Mr. and Mexer, or, no, then it's too close to Mexican. I don't want to get canceled, for God's sakes. What else was I going to hear? I heard somebody was saying the other night here, I think it was, they were talking about how, stand up, I'm doing stand up, and he goes, and this is not a social exercise, And I was like, no, of course it's not a social exercise, because everybody who's a comedian is a sociopath. So, I mean, that is certainly not going to be any kind of a social exercise there. I always have to talk about my mom. I went out right at the beginning of the pandemic. My mom was put into a nursing home by my alcoholic brother, who wanted to live in her house by himself instead of living with her. So she would call me every day from the nursing home and be like, "You get me out of here! You get me out of here! You get him out of my house!" So finally I came out, and I had to kick him out of the house, which was really bad, because most of the time he was drunk and didn't understand what I was saying. The other part of the time, he's 12 years older than me, so, it's like my older brother I'm kicking out of my mother's house, which is kind of creepy right there, right? But anyway, I got him out, got her home, took care of her for 6 months, and I didn't do a very good job because she died. Come on, it's funny. She wanted to die. She wanted to go. I swear to God, she wanted to go. It's not dark. It got a little dark in here for a second. It's not that dark. She definitely wanted to go. As a matter of fact, the whole time I was there, not every day, but pretty much almost every day, she would just, sit in her chair or lay in her bed and go, "Goodbye! Goodbye! Goodbye!" I think she was just trying to find the right way to say goodbye, that the angels would come down and suck her out of her body or something like that. She'd come out in the morning. She always was like, "I want some toast with lots of butter." And she'd always put the emphasis on lots of butter. And she loved grilled cheese sandwiches, and she would have ice cream sandwiches and Dr. Pepper. That was her favorite fucking thing. It was like anytime you wanted her to like stop tripping, because she would trip me. I'd be walking by and she'd be mad at me about something, and she'd be sitting there and she'd stick her foot out, and I'd be like, "You're trying to trip me?" Tried to destroy a grandfather clock because she didn't like what it looked like over in the corner. I was like, And so I had to take the grandfather clock and put it in another room so that she couldn't get access to it. And then the next day she goes, "Whatever happened to that grandfather clock?" And I said, "Well, you tried to destroy it yesterday." And she goes, "Oh yeah, that was when I had one of my spells." I was like, okay, whatever. But she used to call herself the crazy old lady, so she'd do the butter thing for the old. And I was like, you're putting the emphasis on the wrong word. It's crazy old lady. Because she was crazy. She wasn't great growing up either, I gotta say. I have a little experience that I had when I think I was like 8 or 9, and Mannix was on. You remember? Anybody remember Mannix?
Yeah.
Right? Remember the opening sequence where there's like one shot where he runs up and he puts his arm on a railing and he jumps over?
Yeah.
I thought that was so fucking cool. So I decided I was going to do it. And we had this couch, and it was like a kind of a curvy couch, right? And I would run along the couch, and I'd put my arm on the thing and jump over. And one day she caught me, and she's like, "Don't do that. Don't do that. Ever do that again." And I was like, okay. So one day she's way back in the back of the house. It's a pretty big house. She's way back in the back of the house vacuuming. And I thought, okay, the sound is going to cover the crime, right? And the distance, she's way out there. She's not going to know. So I ran and I jumped up and I caught my foot on the back of the thing and went boom and hit my head, and it fucking knocked me out cold.
Oh my God.
I was totally unconscious. And I wake up, and as I'm waking up I hear and I open up my eyes, and my mother is standing over me, vacuuming around my head, and she goes, "I told you not to climb on that couch." That was my mom. So I didn't feel too bad denying her 17th fucking ice cream sandwich and Dr. Pepper every day when she wanted to have that. But yeah, we had fun. It was more like a fun house, with a scary clown. That's going. Jumping out at you, all the time. "Why don't you go back to California?" That's what she used to always say. But yeah, I love my mom. She was quite a character. She had a friend who lived across the street. I have actually like this little section of time. Thank you. This little section of time in my life where I first got into theater. My music teacher got me into it, and her name was Mrs. Klutz. Klutz. Okay. And I got into this thing where I was playing the Artful Dodger. So and the kid who was playing Oliver, his name was Howard Johnson. So if anybody has ever been to a Howard Johnson's, he's the one who owned it. He was the guy. And so he would go, "Oh, this is the way they talk in England." And he would keep making me do that. He would be training me on how to do an English accent. And I was like, okay. Then I went home, and my mom had an old drinking buddy who used to come over every fucking night. She would come over, and they would have martinis. They'd just sit there and get drunk and talk all night. And so I told the neighbor about this, and her name was Mrs. Hooker. So we had Mrs. Klutz, Howard Johnson, and Mrs. Hooker all kind of bundled up in this little thing. And she told me to do a Cockney accent, not to do an English accent. And I went in, and Howard Johnson got really upset with that I was doing, "Yeah, that's not the way they talk. They talk this way." And so I went, okay, and I went along with him for all the rehearsals, and then opening night I went up and I went, "Hello, how's it going? Yo, you got any money?" And he was quite shocked. I got the one thing to end with, I think. One thing I was gonna work on is that I had a way to solve the economy problem. This is the best thing, right? Because it really does. It probably won't sound so bad to the million, billion, zillionaires out there, But if we took anybody who makes over, let's say $400,000. I mean, how many people make over $400,000? And you don't have to admit it if you don't want to. Just blink. Because you don't want to be mugged when we get out front. But okay, $400,000. Every dollar that you make over $400,000, we take 1 penny. 1 penny out of every dollar. So instead of $1, you're getting 99 cents. Big fucking deal, right? Anybody who's got over $400,000, they're not going to miss a fucking penny a dollar. When they make $401,000, they're going to lose a penny. That's nothing, right? So I think that will do it. I have no joke behind it yet. But it's coming, I promise. And I'm done. And the 17th, September 17th, come do an acting class right here. It's free to the public. We're going to be working on cold reading and audition skills that first night. You'll get an idea of the way I teach, and who knows what could happen.
Hey, you never know.
That's it. All right.
Where can they find you on social media?
At Aaron McIntyre, AeronMacintyre.
There you go. I got McIntyre, McInerney. I obviously went to an Irish Catholic school. Griff. I will be so fast, you know that. But first I have to bring up, without the sound of a broken dish, we're going to bring up the comedy of Trish, all the way from San Francisco. When the red light comes on, you have 2 minutes.
Awesome, thank you. Hi everyone, how are you guys doing? Thank you for having me visit. Yeah, I wore this Gap outfit just for you. All right, how are you doing? I actually just turned 30. Thank you. A really long time ago. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you my age because I'm brown. I could be 23 or 57, am I right? Once I was called the fugly Indian version of Penelope Cruz. I know. I was like, oh my God, my mom is finally talking to me. Yeah. My mom wants me to get married and have kids. She said to me, Trishna, I love you, but your eggs are dying. Your vagina's like a house in San Francisco. No one wants to buy it because there's a whore living in it. That was the worst birthday card I ever got. No more Hallmark for me. I hate it when people call me an Indian version of celebrity, like I don't know that I'm Indian. I was called once the Indian version of George Lopez. I was like, really? Really? Karen from Redondo Beach, you want to calm down on that Chardonnay, bitch? So I didn't like that. I have a crazy family. I have a brother. He calls himself an influencer. He's basically a very stupid pimp. He said to me, hey, Trish, I got a hookup for the hottest club for $1,000. I was like, cool. Where is it in L.A.? He's like, nah, it's in San Bernardino. You spent $1,000 to rent a club in San Bernardino. For $1,000, you could have bought San Bernardino. There's nothing there but Jamba Juice and meth. Guess what's in the Jamba Juice? Lots of meth. Maybe that is a deal. I got to figure that one out. I'm not really sure. I also have a nephew. He's got a very traditional Indian name, Brandon. In Hindi, Brandon actually means whiny little bitch. No, he's actually a good person. My sister told me that he actually won an award for volunteering with urban youth. Yeah, that 12-year-old is a complete loser. He volunteers with the urban youth and gets an award for it. He is the urban youth. He's 12. I mean, I'm the normal one. The only way I'm close to urban youth is when I go on the playground run on Ventura Boulevard to score my Adderall. Those are the good kids. They're finally being of service. Stupid kids. I also, I talk to my mother all the time. My friends keep telling me, you know, you're like your mother, and they keep saying, Trish being awesome, Trish being in your 30s is awesome because you're finally comfortable with who you really are. And they're right, I am comfortable with who I am. The problem is I've become comfortable being exactly like my mother. I tried everything not to be like her. Therapy, counseling, gin and tonics. None of it works. But we're exactly alike. We both listen to Billie Eilish songs to attract bisexual men. We're totally in tune. That's a pun right there. We both hate talking to Gen Z kids. Anyone a Gen Z kid here? Yeah, all right, I'll leave that alone. See, I hate talking to Gen Z kids. Talking to Gen Z kids is like solving a math problem, except 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. 1 + 1 can be whatever you feel like, and then you protest about it. You do this thing called quiet quitting. You know what quiet quitting is? Yeah, it's where you do your job just enough so you don't get fired. I find that really stupid and irresponsible that you're telling the world that you're doing that. I've been doing that for 20 years. Don't ruin it for the rest of us, Sequoia. Or whatever your name is. You're all named Sequoia. I don't know. So I grew up in a broken home. As you can tell, I grew up in a broken home. So I convinced myself my life would be like a Bollywood movie. For anyone who hasn't seen a Bollywood movie, you have, yeah. They always have a beautiful love story, right? I had a love affair with vodka. It was the only thing in my life that was absolute. They always have beautiful colors in every scene. I see colors all the time when I eat Lucky Charms. They were magically delicious when I was on acid. They always have a family drama. I learned the family drama that my grandma got married at 16 years old and that my family was proud of that. If I knew that getting married at 16 would make my family proud, why did I go to high school like a loser? Why did I learn about the Dewey Decimal System when I should have been looking for a husband who could Dewey my decimal? Why should I have been just talking to men where I should have just been wearing Lululemon pants and getting stepped off in Beverly Hills? I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I'm making poor decisions. I went to an Indian wedding recently. I personally hate Indian weddings. I know people love them. Indian weddings to me are like the Summer Olympics. You spend weeks in a hot and humid location where nobody reads or speaks English. The wedding was in Florida. You go to confusing ceremonies where there's horses and elephants. It might as well be the movie Avatar. Why is it so long and who's paying for this? And the gold medal prize is me marrying the boring Indian IT guy who has his own mommy issues. Last time I checked, he's not packing elephant dick. I'm not going to marry him. I'm going to set my own world record that Asian women like me do all the time. Seduce white engineers from Google. The crazy thing is that the married couple, they were like 21 years old when they got married. I was like, I don't think you should get married that young. They haven't even become alcoholics yet. What's the point? Call me old-fashioned, but I don't think you should get married unless you've done therapy or rehab or done jail time. If you ever had a man put a bail bond out for you with his cashier's check, how do you know he really loves you? There's no way to tell. So I used to be single. I knew when I was in a toxic relationship before. I knew I was in a toxic relationship when I saw that movie, The Notebook. And I saw Ryan Gosling being so loving to Rachel McAdams. And I was wondering, why are you being so nice to her? Why are you being so emotionally available? Are you going to kill her? So we broke up, and I went on eHarmony. Remember eHarmony? Yeah. And it gave me some dating tips, and it said to me, on your first date, you should never drink too much, talk too much, or unleash your emotional baggage on the first date. So I don't get to do anything I want? Why do I even go? What's the point? Great. Why do I even go? So anyways, I went on the dating apps. Going on the dating apps is like shopping at a very shady Costco. See, Costco has a solid return policy, but Bumble does not. When I'm scrolling, I have no idea if the guy is stable like an accountant or completely insane like Draymond Green from Warriors game. Which is equally hot, I'm not complaining. But it's crazy. I mean, I did so many things when I was dating. I met this one guy, he asked me if I wanted to play pickleball. I thought thought it was a drug. I was like, yeah, I snorted in the bathroom last week, of course. He's like, no. Turns out pickleball is a sport. I think it's the only sport that makes cornhole seem sexy. So that's a pretty low bar. Yeah, that didn't work out. And then one lady, I had a dating coach, I actually hired her, and she said, in order to attract a man, I need her to give off feminine energy. So what? Am I supposed to put in a tampon and watch Gilmore Girls? Isn't my vagina enough? Didn't I spend $2,000 at Victoria's Secret to prove that I have a fucking woman? I don't understand. It's 2024. I mean, feminine energy is my body, my choice. Making equal pay. And getting back my ex's videotape of me spanking him on a Ferris wheel. What was I thinking, taking speed from a guy to Modesto? I don't know what I'm doing right now. Look, in my 20s, I had a long laundry list of what I wanted in a guy. He had to be smart. He had to be tall. He'd be so handsome that my ovaries would just pop out like jazz hands, you know? Now their mold is a little bit different. Do you have a resting pulse of over 85? Did you watch Blue Bloods last night? Show's almost over. Is your penis mostly straight? Like, if I hung it on a wall, would people notice that it's crooked? Spoiler, they're all a little crooked. I would know. I've had sex with like 2 Armenian guys. Look, at the end of the day, I just want a guy who can pay his bills and hold me at night. Basically, I just want a Japanese pillow with a 401k. But I'll settle for a My Pillow with a little bit of special K. All right, that's my time. Thanks, guys.
Where do we find you on social media?
Oh, Trish Pandia Comedy SF. Thank you.
Pandia spelled, I'm sorry.
Pandya. Trish, TRSH, Pandya SF.
There you go.
Thank you.
Woo! Thank you. You gotta push yourself every time. That was great. That was a nice job. Now look, you didn't kiss me like that in the hallway, Paulie boy.
Not yet, I didn't.
Wait till I take out these teeth. I'm kidding. God forbid. Oh my God, Griff, you would drop dead. Griff, I laugh about you so much because you're funny. He's so funny. I want you to really enjoy him. I introduced you. I don't even use his last name anymore. I don't, because there's no ands or ifs with the comedy of Griff. Let's do this.
Thank you. Nicest intro I've ever gotten. Thank you. A lot of bad family talk. I actually come from a really nice family. Yeah. My family's so nice that when people ask me how many siblings I have, I include my dogs. I'm like, yeah, I got 2 little brothers that are Australian Shepherds and then a sister who's a Jewish-Italian mix. We're all pretty furry. Yeah. It's cool. I'm an LA guy, LA family. I wasn't really raised religious, but I was raised skinny. That was big, and skinny was the religion in my household. My mom would always say, nothing tastes better than skinny feels. That was her thing. She'd say that to my sister and I. And then we'd release each other's hands and say amen and eat kale. That was my upbringing. That was my upbringing. It's weird. It gave me a weird look on spirituality, you know, because, like, spirituality to most people is you purify your soul for when you leave your mortal body. But in my household, it was about shredding your core so you can yell at a valet. That's how we did things. And we would share. So it's funny. It's like my family, we have so much internalized fat phobia, but we love food. Like, my mom's big on gourmet food. So I remember, you guys are from San Francisco. We were at the Ferry Building, you know, and we got this, like, my mom was obsessed with this breakfast sandwich. She saw it online, and so we got this breakfast sandwich, but we just got one. We could afford many more, but we just got one, and we would pass it around and take bites, one at a time. But if someone took too big of a bite, we'd all freak out. We'd be like, hey, you're out. Like a baseball ump, you're out of here, you're done. You're done with that sandwich. And I remember it got to me, And I really wanted to savor it, right? Because I was like, who knows what could happen? My sister could take too big of a bite. Next, it's not going to make its way back. So I closed my eyes and took a slow bite. And my mom went, eat it. Don't make love to it. And that's not, you shouldn't say that to a 9-year-old. I was shook. It still haunts me. But I turned the tables back on her because I was like, what's making love? And then I got that explanation way too early. I knew what sex was really early. And I brought that information with me to school. I was bragging. I was like, I know what making love is. And all the kids were like, what is it? I was like, all right, I'll tell you. So basically, when a daddy loves a breakfast sandwich. Thank you. But yeah. I'm innocent though. I remember, no, I am. I'm a really good innocent person. Like I speaking of public high schools, I went to Santa Monica High School, big public high school, and there was a girl in my class that she was a teen mom. She pushed a stroller from class to class, but I didn't know that was a thing at the time. So in my head, I was like, this baby is a genius. He skipped so many grades, and he's got a servant. This is amazing. And I was in chemistry class with the mom. I was in chemistry class with the mom, and she was a good person, but it was stressful. Like when I realized this was her son and she was a mom, I felt a lot of pressure because like I'm good enough at chemistry to pass, but to support a family, I don't know. I had both of them. We get pop quizzes. The baby would cry. I'd be like, he's cool. He gets it. This guy gets it. This guy gets it. But yeah, she was my lab partner for like a whole semester, and she would like whenever the baby cried, she'd leave the class and I'd have to do all the work by myself. And it got to the point I got so frustrated that one time the baby started crying. I was like, no, you stay here, you do the worksheet, I'm gonna go breastfeed him, all right? We can switch for once. We'll switch. And I played sports, but I wasn't very good. My parents pushed me in sports, but this is like the only Jewish thing about me. They pushed me hard in sports in a very Jewish way. Like they didn't have me stay after practice and do extra sprints, but they did always make me thank the coach. I always had to go up and say thank you to the coach. They'd be like, go thank the coach. Go butter up that coach. You run weird, so you gotta go connect with that coach on a personal level, because when you run it looks like your legs aren't your legs, so go connect with it. It was so weird. I was always going, hey, thanks. Just, awkward. Stay on the basketball team, thank the coach. My parents would be like, go thank the coach and ask him about his kids. I'd be like, but I'm a kid. They'd be like, yeah, but adults like that. Go talk to him about his kids. So I'd go up to my coach. I'd be like, hey, I heard you have some of me. Kids, that is. He was like, yeah. I'd be like, how are they? Good. Good. Well, thank you. I got cut. I got cut from the team. My mom's from Kansas, and I was in Kansas a couple months ago, and I was in a Chipotle, and there was a guy open carrying an assault rifle in the Chipotle, and it upset my family. They were scared, but there was a long line. He was at the end of the line, but I thought to myself, like, if he can keep himself in check with this gun when he's hungry, he's responsible enough to have it. Because I'm a menace when I'm hungry. I'm a really bad person. Like, I get hungry and make loved ones cry, and I'm unarmed. So I don't know what I would do if I had a gun. He didn't. I thought he would point with the gun. Because, we all point at the people at Chipotle. We'd all, like, point. I want him to point with the gun. Right. Like, that would have been fun. Yeah, let me get white rice, black beans, chicken, a little more chicken, guac, Guac's still extra. It's still, oh, thank you. All right, I'll steam on that. But yeah, speaking of crime, so I'm pretty close to, like, I'm damn near a perfect person, and I don't do anything illegal, but the one crime I do commit is I litter. But I only litter at night. Cause you can litter at night, because it's like that could have been anyone. I just throw stuff out the window. I'm like, that wasn't me. That wasn't me. That was anybody. You can litter at night, because that's not a severe. Think of all the crimes that go on at night. Littering is so, like, if you called your friend and you're like, it's 2 a.m. and I committed a crime, they'd be thinking there's been a murder. But if you were like, I just littered, they'd be like, oh, all right. Why'd you get me all worked up? Murder is for nighttime, you know? It's like, you're supposed to get murdered at night. Like, if you get murdered in the day, it's really shocking. They say broad daylight. There's like a term for getting, he got murdered in broad daylight. If you get, I hate to victim blame, but if you get murdered in the daytime, you're an asshole. Like, I feel like you had it coming if you got murdered in the daytime. You know what I mean? Murdered in the daytime, you might deserve it. Like Jeffrey Dahmer, he was really famous because he like killed and ate gay people for dinner. But if it was breakfast, let's hear him out. All right, that's all I have. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Where do we find you?
Griff James on all the things. Thank you.
On all good things. Oh my God. I hope my kids don't go on stage talking about me. That would be. I did hear it once, so I did not like it at all. At all. I thought I was going to like it, but I didn't. And it was Tova. She just kept talking about how I kept talking. And she talks a lot too. But Jazzy, aren't you going to come here and do a few minutes?
I'm in working mode right now.
Oh. Well, we're going to work you out of it. And listen, I just wanted to say something about litter, okay? I'm going to tell you about litter. My brother, God rest his soul, my baby brother, had a huge orange soda in my car. And we get out, and I said to him, you going to take it with you? And he goes, no, and he throws it outside of my car in front of my mother's house. I said, Jason, you can't litter. He's like, ain't nobody out here see me. Same thing. He's like, ain't nobody see me. You know what I did? I was so mad. I went to work the next day and stepped on it and got it all over my stocking. And I worked on Wall Street, and I got it all over me. And for Christmas, I gave him, because he wasn't Jewish, different fathers. It's a long story. But anyway, I gave it to him for Christmas, the litter. And I wrapped it. I saved it. How sick am I? So if I ever see your black ass littering, okay? And a narrow black ass, because now I know you've been chopping, sharing that sandwich. The way your family does like that. I love it that he's perfect. Don't you love that he's perfect, though? You have to love that he's perfect. And when we do love that's perfect is you guys who tune in. And listen, if you love us, let us know. We're doing a lot of things. Follow me on Sunday Live. Really don't. Because, follow me. But if I don't answer right away, call me. Because when people say, I DM'd you, I'm married. I didn't know what they were talking about. Because that MILF thing, mother I'd like to feed? No. All right, to all our friends from San Francisco, welcome, and we hope to see you again. You've been great. And don't forget, September 17th is a big opening for the acting day. Everybody have a great time. Follow us at LASchoolofcomedy.com. Bye. Are we off?